on target.
Almost there.
Stay on target.
They're right behind me.
Almost there.
What?
Hello and welcome to this edition of Yakima on Target. I'm your host, Sean Davido, and today I'm joined by Soo, Choi, and Clayton Bussey. They're the co-founders of the Sagebrush Hills Film Festival. Thank you for joining me today, guys.
Hey, thanks for having us,
Thanks
Sean.
for having us.
So let's talk about the film festival. How did this thing get started? How did you guys come up with this idea? What started it?
Well, on a basic level, it stems from my own struggles to find a sense of community when I was growing up in Yakima. So then when I left for college and went to New York City, I discovered that film is such a good vehicle for creating a sense of connection and a really great starting point for conversation. So when I got back here, classic, I want to make a difference, I want to do something impactful for my community. It just kind of culminated in this idea of, let's take what I learned and what I experienced on my own and maybe bring a piece of it back here. And so.
And then you got involved with, then you met Clayton, and you guys came up with the idea for the...
Yeah, we met several years ago and became friends. And Soo had mentioned several times, kind of offhandedly that, I'd like to start a film festival in Yakima someday.
It's a crazy idea.
Yeah.
I know.
And, she made it happen. And I just jumped on board to help out.
Well, he never really has a choice. I mean, as with most of my crazy ideas, it pretty much becomes you're in, right? Good, let's go.
I mean, it's right without the question mark.
Yeah, there's no
You're
question
in,
mark
right?
there. And so, here we are 5 years later.
So 5 years ago, that would be my next question. You guys started 5 years ago.
Yes.
How has it evolved? How has the film festival evolved? What was the first year like? Was it a little chaotic to get it going?
A little, yeah.
A lot.
A little.
a lot. Neither of us have a background in film. Again, film just became the kind of answer for how can we bring a little bit more of a sense of community in the members that we can bring together through something. So film is that vehicle.
Yeah. What can we use to bring the people?
Exactly.
Bring
so
the people in, bring people together.
Neither of us studied film. Just full disclosure.
Right.
We're not film critics. We don't have education and background in filmmaking or anything like that.
You're not film producers. You're not out there shooting your own documentaries.
No,
or anything.
maybe one day.
Maybe someday.
But not right now.
And so it really,
It evolved from?
It evolved from just a really good idea and trying to figure out how to make it happen to then inserting our mission and making sure that the films that we bring create meaningful dialogue in the audience that choose to join us.
And that's your slogan, isn't it? Isn't your slogan, let's watch a movie together?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
exactly. Let's come together.
Yeah.
Let's different people, different backgrounds, different life experiences, but everybody watches movies,
Yeah.
So let's watch a movie together. Let's have something in common and start a conversation based on it.
Now let's talk about content. What are these movies? What do you bring to the table? What are you showing to people?
We have,
Over the years.
It's
it's changed a little bit.
Yeah,
Just knowing.
and so it's a big question because, our mission is to bring meaningful films that can spark dialogue amongst, again, the members in our community that choose to watch a movie with us. But what that's turned into is that we realize, there's so many different pockets of our community that can be reached in different ways. And so we developed offshoot one-day events that kind of focus on very specific genres of film. So we have Sagebrush Hills X, which is always in late winter, and that is where you experience the kind of weird films, if you will. They are technically different. Maybe the filmmaking style is a little bit different than mainstream, or they engage in topics that are maybe more...
Yeah, kind of push the envelope a
Yeah.
little more darker, grittier, maybe more violent, maybe more dark humor,
Exactly.
just more envelope pushing movies.
And
That's what we
they're
tend
just
to.
more complex in the way that it engages the audience. Then we have a spring offshoot, which is called Sagebrush Hills Discover, and that is entirely focused on family-friendly films and activities. And so really we want to somehow introduce the very, very young demographic to international films and things that are not quite as easily accessible on just TV and typical movie theater fare. And we also have an offshoot called Sagebrush Hills Docs, which is focused on documentaries. And then we have our flagship event, which is kind of brings all of that together in a weekend-long festival of all those different kinds of films.
And
Plus a few more.
that is coming up here pretty soon, right?
Yes.
We're close to that.
Yeah, the first weekend of November, actually. November 1st, 2nd, and 3rd is our flagship festival.
Yeah, but we don't like to talk about that because it, gives me anxiety thinking about how close
How quickly
we are
it's
to
coming
this
up.
thing. So we're just, it's not that close. It's just, we'll just, yeah.
Now, I was at the Folklife Festival. You guys partner. You have some partnerships. What was the event that was happening there? Was that? Go ahead, Clayton.
Yeah, so a friend of ours is very involved with the Folklife Festival, and she reached out to us, wondered if we would just show some movies or some films in the museum during Folklife,
Right.
just as an additional element to the Folklife Festival. Folklife, it's hot usually.
Right.
So people, if they want to go inside, wander through the air
Cool
conditioning
off
for a little
while.
bit, there's something going on. There's short films or a movie or something playing inside the museum that they can check out. And so we have provided that segment of Folklife Festival for the past 3 years,
I think so, yeah.
is it?
It's about 3
I
years.
think, yeah.
Now, these aren't your average. The films that you're showing aren't your average. They're independent films, right? This isn't major box office blockbusters, right?
Somewhat.
yeah,
it's
not
kind of
necessarily.
yes and no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are some of the topics for this? Let's talk about this year's festival.
Okay.
This year's showcase. What are some of the things that people can see if they attend your event?
Well, so we start off on Friday night, Friday, November 1st, with our Silver Screen Gala.
Nice.
It's a red carpet event. It's at the Yakima Valley Museum. So you walk in, you walk down a red carpet, you wear your red carpet attire if
Yeah.
you
Tux and
want.
tails.
Yeah, tux and,
Yeah.
yes,
Pretty
exactly.
much, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
all the
Tux-
glitter,
tux and
all the
evening
glam,
gowns.
all the sparkly jewelry. I mean, it's just a really great time to dress up if you'd like, but it's not exclusive to that. I mean, you can come in jeans and a t-shirt if you want. And so, again, it's completely all-inclusive. You come be comfortable because the point is to come watch a movie with us. Where our opening night film is Captain Fantastic, starring Viggo Mortensen. And again, so to kind of answer your question, it is more of an independent style film, but also I wouldn't say that it's.
Yeah, it's not like your $200,000 budget
Right.
indie film.
Yeah.
It's not a mainstream studio film.
Right, but it's
So
extremely well made. It's like, again, dealing with things that I think mainstream might kind of shy away from because there's a lot of philosophical thoughts that are at play during the film while you watch this family go on this crazy adventure together. And it's easy enough to engage in lightly, but it is complicated enough for you to be left with some deeper thoughts that you might be surprised by.
Thought-provoking.
Yes.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. You don't have to dig or scratch the surface very, very deeply to get to some deeper themes.
Yeah. And so then we close out the night with an after party at Crafted.
Nice.
Yes, and it's always great fun. And then we move into the rest of the weekend. Saturday we have again the Sagebrush Hills X venue at the Hop Shop, and we're bringing some interesting films. We've got the Florida Project, which actually won, I believe, quite a few. I don't know if they were actually just nominations or awards, actually.
But
But-
it has been nominated. It is
Yes,
at
it's-
some of these
Yeah,
film
it's-
festivals around the country.
Yeah.
Critically acclaimed, at least. I mean,
Wonderful.
it's a really wonderful film. And then we follow that up with a ghost story, which is when we talk about different styles of filmmaking, this might be hard for some people, to be honest, just because, we're so used to fast, and like
Right.
action. And
Yeah.
this is not that. I mean, this is like a very pensive kind of film. And then we close it out with a dark comedy called What We Do in the Shadows. And I mean,
Yeah, it's directed by the Taika Waititi. He's the director of Thor Ragnarok,
Nice.
but he's from New Zealand, and he has quite a resume of really funny, really well-made
Interesting.
movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and there's vampires and it's comedy and it's hilarious. So to wrap it up. And
Sunday? Do you guys go through Sunday too?
yes,
Yeah.
we do. And actually, so Saturday we have a separate venue that's going
Oh.
at the same time. So that is our Sagebrush Hills Docks venue, and that's going to be held at Gilbert Cellars. And people can enjoy some wine and come and engage in documentaries about people that are out there in the world doing some pretty incredible things. Again, with most documentaries, some topics might be a little difficult and challenging for some, but I think that we try to keep our focus on documentaries to revolve around people doing things, because that way, hopefully, you can come away from this venue feeling inspired, in a nutshell. But we've got guest speakers that will be present to maybe do a little Q&A and engage more deeply with the audience that might have questions after they experience the documentaries. And then Sunday is our kind of more well-rounded way to end the festival. We have our Family Day fair.
Yeah, Sagebrush Hills Discover,
Mm-hmm.
the family movies, family kid-friendly movies and activities.
Right, and this year we've got face painting in between the two films, plus activities and snacks and things like that, and it's completely free to the public. It's always free, the Family Day is.
Where's this venue at?
So this will be-
excuse me.
So Sagebrush Hills Discover, it will be at the Yakima Valley Museum.
Okay.
Yeah, on Sunday,
On
November
Sunday.
3rd.
Now, Saturday, 3 venues or 2?
There's
Two.
2 venues on Saturday, and then 2 venues again on Sunday. So we'll be
X is? one
X
more
and
time.
Docs X is at the Hop Shop.
Okay.
Docs is at Gilbert Cellars,
Okay.
and those are both on Saturday.
Okay.
And then Sagebrush Hills Discover is at the museum on Sunday, along with our Sagebrush Hills features at Glenwood Square.
Right.
And so 2 venues for each day.
And where do people find out about all this stuff? How do people get some information here?
They can find us on our website, sagebrushfilms.com.
Okay.
We have a Facebook page, which is Sagebrush Hills Film Festival. We put out regular updates about what we're doing,
Events,
information
venues,
that
wherever
yeah.
we have.
Yes, all the information will be.
about the movies. Yeah. And then we have an email newsletter that we send out periodically too, and you can sign up for that at our website to get email right in your inbox. Emailed information right in your inbox.
Wonderful. And I will add, we'll share all that information with you also at the end of the program. We'll put up all the information that we can get so people can find out more about you guys. I'm going to divert a little bit
'Kay.
because
Game on.
I know that earlier we talked that you had gone away to New York for school. You're a lifetime resident of the Valley, right? Until then. You're a transplant, as I understand, right?
I am, yeah.
So you came here for a job.
That's right, yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about community pride. I want to talk about what, as younger, more youthful people in our community, what do you think of community pride in Yakima? What do you think the temperature is? Rate community pride for me, if you will. Sue,
I'll let him handle the hard question.
okay. As
I'm
somebody
kidding.
from outside of our area that's new to the community, rate community pride for us.
I think there's I think that most people like where they live. They like the people they're around. They like their community. I feel like there is kind of an overarching, a bit of a negative perception of Yakima, like a self-deprecating type of
Correct,
perception.
right,
I pick up on that sometimes. And it's kind of interesting. I think that I get that more from longer term residents than I do from transplants or from people like Sue who moved away and came back and realized,
Right.
you know what, the grass is not always greener.
Right.
And so I think there is there is a lot of amazing things happening in Yakima.
Right.
And there is so much to be proud of and excited about in Yakima. And I would just encourage anybody that has that kind of self-deprecating, that kind of down on my town type of feeling. I would encourage them to look around, be proactive, get out and get involved. Volunteer with a nonprofit organization. Look for people who are doing things, because there are a lot of people out there.
And a lot of things going on. I mean,
There-
go watch a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, come
Or
watch a movie with
or,
us.
work for us
Yeah.
as a volunteer.
Right.
Well, can I?
And I do want to talk to you
Yeah.
because you left, and you spoke about it earlier.
Yeah.
You left because you were not feeling a sense of community in Yakima,
Yeah.
and then you left Yakima. What was that like, and why'd you come back?
Well, I mean, so being part of an immigrant family, there's not a big community that I was able to connect with growing up. We don't
Right.
have several generations who have lived in Yakima and
Right.
just have that sense of place. So it was really difficult, again, as a minor, to try to develop that when you're already still trying to discover who you are,
Right.
And
Yeah.
so without that, I thought, gosh, I got to run away. I got to get out of here.
Many of us do. I thought the same thing.
I know, and I don't think that is unique to Yakima. I think
Right.
that most people, when there isn't an easy way to feel that belonging, then the answer is always, well, it's got to be this place. I got to get out of here.
Yeah.
And so I ran away. I mean, I didn't run away. I
Right.
ran toward the light of opportunity.
You meant to go find your opportunities
Yes,
elsewhere.
absolutely. And you know what? It wasn't that different there, because the thing is that I think that you have to choose to engage, and I didn't do that there either.
Right.
And so, gaining a few years and maybe a little bit
bit
more
of
wisdom,
wisdom,
you start to kind of reflect and go, gosh, one, the city life is not for me.
Right.
And so the natural reaction would be maybe going back isn't the answer either, because I ran away from that, right?
Right.
But when you really start to think about, what did I run away from? Well, I can't really place it. So then I came back. I chose to come back. And it's the best decision I ever made, because, with the mindset that I developed in the city, to be engaged, to choose to engage,
Right.
I came back and applied that here. And I think that when you're talking about this overarching maybe kind of sense of negativity or self-deprecation, I think that you can kind of class the people in this community in two different ways. And there are those who believe that this place is happening to them, and then there are those who want to mold this place. And that is so key in how you feel about the place, because the thing is, this is a community that is slowly but surely embracing our film festival.
Right.
We put something out there, we put a brainchild out there, put some effort into it, and people, again, slowly but surely are showing it some love.
Right.
And how can you say that there's nothing going on? How can you say that this community is dead to the outside? It's not. It's just how you as an individual choose to perceive that place. Is it a thing that's happening to you, or is it a thing that kind of is in its infancy where you can really make it whatever you want? And I think Yakima is just blossoming because there's more and more people that are like, gosh, the opportunities in this place. Let's just let's light a fire under it and see what happens, and the environment is responding positively. So if more people can learn to see that and not put themselves on the outside, be a volunteer, or just wander in and see what's going on and see what's happening,
Talk to people, engage with people.
Yeah, I find that people will find a very different Yakima than what you might believe, having just grown up here and just believing that it's static, because it's definitely not static.
Yeah. Or reading what people say on Facebook.
Right.
Well, that is a danger for everything in life, is reading.
And it can be very, very self-deprecating on some of the social media. Positive note on that, I have noticed an uptick in even on social media about people being more positive about our community instead of seeing a thread of, I don't like Yakima, Yakima's horrible,
Yeah,
there's
right,
nothing
right.
to do here. There are people defending Yakima. People are saying, it's okay here. Have you been other places?
No, it's not
Have
okay.
you lived
It's great.
anywhere else? It's
yeah,
wonderful.
it is. It's
Yeah,
wonderful.
yeah, let's focus on the things that we can all celebrate
Right.
instead of focusing on the things that we don't like.
Well, and I find more and more some of the negative things that are portrayed. It's like, oh, only in Yakima. And actually, if you think about what whatever event was, like you spilled your Starbucks all over you, or
Right.
your car got broken into, I'm like, that kind of happens
can happen
everywhere
anywhere.
in the universe. I mean,
Yeah.
that is not a only in Yakima kind of statement. And so when you kind of remove and filter through that kind of stuff, you realize there's really not a whole lot to be that negative about. I mean, there's only so much to be positive about, and it is wonderful here.
And there's
So,
a lot to be positive about. I always say, if you look for the positives, you can find them.
Yeah.
If you look for the negatives, you can
You're going
find
to
them.
find
exactly.
those too. Yeah.
Well, how can it be
That's-
negative? I mean, look, we're here.
Well, and you've got a wonderful film festival. People say there's nothing to do. I'm busy all the time.
Yeah.
There is always something every
Oh,
weekend.
yeah.
Sometimes I just want to take
I
a
was
nap.
getting anxiety from Facebook. Yes, from too much going
Telling-
on.
so many
Facebook telling me,
choices,
look
so
at
many
all these
events going on.
So many
events
things
that
I'm
your
missing out
friends
on.
are interested in going to. And I'm like, I cannot look
Yeah.
at that. I have to finish my chores. I have to finish this.
There's only so much
There's
need
only
to go around.
Yes. Yeah. No. So.
I do want to, now you talked about volunteering. Let's get back to the film festival. People can volunteer, they can become involved.
Well, we are extremely critical about our criteria on who we
Yeah.
accept. So basically, if you sign up, you are in, is how that goes.
What are some of the things that people would be helping out with? What do you
On the weekend of the festival, we need people to help take tickets, greet people at the door, people to help set up the venues, take down the venues, sell concessions.
Yeah,
and
it's pretty basic. I
Yeah.
mean, it's not, again, there's no volunteer position that's unique to our event than any other event around here. We just need, it's as simple as we just need help.
Not a lot of algebra involved in it, no.
But we do leave
the
a
calculus,
calculator.
the calculus gets a little tough for some people, I think, but yeah, no algebra.
Okay.
Definitely
Strict
no algebra.
criteria is what I said.
We have covered a lot of ground. Is there anything else that you guys want to talk about the film festival, about our community, anything?
I just wanted to say that I appreciate what you're doing here.
Yeah.
And appreciate you having us on to talk about our film festival.
It's funny. We believe very passionately in the film festival and what we're doing, and yet we're terrible at self-promotion. And while this is not us promoting ourselves per se, as individuals, we have that difficulty, and it's sometimes hard to bridge that for our organization. And so having this kind of opportunity to really talk about it, and really let people know what's going on and what we're putting a lot of effort into, is really great. And so we appreciate it so much.
Every little bit helps, and
Yeah.
every little bit that we can do for each other to promote things in the community.
Yes.
Show people what's going on out there, and show how great Yakima is and how
Yeah.
great our community is. So
That's-
I really do thank you guys for joining me today. And thank you all for joining us on Yakima on Target. For more information about the Sagebrush Hills Film Festival and how you can attend or volunteer, visit www.sagebrushfilms.com or find Sagebrush Hills Film Festival on Facebook.
Stay on target.
Almost there.
Stay on target.
Almost there.
What?
For more information on YPAC programming, please call 575-6092.